Hello, everyone. We are doing a special masterclass today with Jay Suttonbrown from Manipura Yoga College. Manipura, if you don't know, is your third chakra right in through here, and it's all about the power center, and it's all about where our oomph comes from. Jay, talk to us about the Manipura in us. And she is my teacher. She's a spiritual guide, a yoga teacher, and all the things. Just an amazing human who loves to talk about our emotional resonance on this planet and liberate ourselves from the chains that hold us down from really expressing who we are and what we want to be on this planet. So, Jay, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me, Adera. You are a beacon of light and a wonder to work with at any capacity. I'm pleased to call you friend as well. Manipura, if these words are new to you in any capacity, what I like to talk about in reference to power is empowerment. We often experience power in a variety of senses where either might feel overpowered, like something's coming at us, we're not sure how we're going to manage it, or underpowered, like we just kind of give up, bottom out, our energy leaves. The Manipura is about remembering that the resonance of how we source energy is within us. And it's nicely connected to shame because they're both related to constructs of how we experience ourselves versus what we have taken in and embodied as messages or beliefs from the outside. And I'll tell you, as a grown up person, it doesn't feel like when I'm having thoughts of unworthiness that it comes from the outside. It feels like it's coming from in me. I'm sure I'm the one who's having the problem. But what we do through meditation, through mindfulness, through vibration in a true sense is work with messages until they illuminate what it is that we need. So this is not intended to be a lecture because gosh, how boring would that be? I would like if any of you are open to, because this is so easy to talk about, you know what everyone loves to talk about? Shame and guilt. They just, yeah, please, can we talk about that some more? Brene Brown is fantastic. She says, if I don't want to talk to someone on an airplane, the minute they ask me what I do is I say, I'm an expert in shame and I like discussing shame. She's like, they turn to their book, they put on their earbuds, they're done. They don't want to talk anymore. So you kind of knew we were going with shame's not the boss. But what are some areas of interest or challenges that you may have or beliefs that you may have around shame? Because if I have some of your feedback, then perhaps I can offer you something more potent to what you're actually interested in versus cut and block, info. So go ahead, ladies. I know it's your favorite topic. Anyone got something?
Yeah, you all are welcome to put something in the chat or you're welcome to come off mute. We did want to make this very personalized for each one of you, and it's a two-way street and also some teaching from Jay. The one thing that came up for me while you were talking was working with the messages until they illuminate what we need. And I think that's partly our problem in this culture, particularly in the way we operate on the planet, is we're never taking the time to really listen and find the answer inward around the reaction or the feeling that we're experiencing.
So, what happens with feelings is that we get trained from a fairly young age that if they are uncomfortable, if we don't like them, if other people respond poorly to them, then they are something to be gotten rid of, changed, shifted. In our highly charged, very busy, very interconnected world, many people struggle to take 5, 10, 12, 14 minutes to sit in some form of practice that allows and cultivates a space of inner listening. And when I have people come into my programs, I like to say things like, you spend more time in the washroom. And you know what you bring in the washroom? Your damn phones. And you're scrolling and you're looking at your phones in the washroom. And we're just constantly wanting to be fed and connected and entertained. And this kind of work of being with sensation and feelings is a practice in and of itself that requires not a huge amount of time, but a little bit of time consistently. And something I would say, Linda came in and said, I've just been in my garden. If you leave your garden and you don't water it and you don't weed it, and if you don't pay attention to the plants, some things are going to grow wild and get real big. Some things are going to die. Some things are going to be suffocated. And so what I'd like to offer you is that as human beings, in the most physiological sense, the reason us sapiens have done so well in this, long lineage of life is because our primate brain is geared to look for the negative, to find problems, and to stay safe. It's like we're a giant, if you just take your most primitive part of your brain, it's a giant problem solving scenario. So now imagine you're pre-verbal, you're 2, you're 3, you're 6. Well, I know you're verbal by 6, but in these more sensitive pre-verbal states, and someone says, stop that. Now, this isn't to create guilt about all the humans we've interacted with. We're all kind of in this, but how we integrate that is, that isn't okay. I'm not okay. I better change what I'm doing, how I'm behaving immediately so that I can stay okay with this person, this situation, this tribe. And it starts in your family and it expands in elementary school and adolescence and through our young adulthood and into adulthood. And so we begin to change our behaviors to ensure that we fit in versus establishing communication pathways around belonging. So that's kind of level 1. There's some hardwiring is what I'm saying, that without our conscious awareness directing it, that hardwiring will be preeminent in the same way that if you don't tend to your garden, there are certain weeds that will grow. Those weeds will be fear, looking for problems, solving for safety. All of these kinds of things can get bigger, shame, unless we bring and cultivate a sense of presence and awareness with it. How many of you have some form of I'm going to call it an awareness practice. It doesn't have to be yoga. There's a lot of forms of awareness practices out there. Little bit. Okay. I will offer that I have people, just in case to make that pool quite broad. There are people who find their space of awareness walking in nature, that they intentionally walk in nature or near the beach, or it's not all in the form of, please come and sit in my yoga studio and get into these funny shapes and make these funny sounds kind of thing. So awareness practices are what bring us in tune with the places of what has grown in our garden. And what I like to say is that shame as a sensation reveals the condition of your self-worth at any moment. Shame as a condition is informing you like a temperature gauge of where you are at with your own sense of self-worth in that moment. And it serves you to raise it. These discomforting feelings that we have, their intention is to say, hi, I'm uncomfortable to get your attention because you're not paying attention to the fact that you're out of alignment with your self-worth right now. So here's a really crummy sensation because you're going to pay attention to that. I'm going to give you an example of, you put your hand next to a hot stove. Your body will have a response to move away to keep you safe. Shame has the same aspect. It's saying, could you please pay attention over here? Because there's something that you need. So one of the messages that I share is that when it feels bad to be you, shame detects and reflects that you have forgotten who you really are. When it feels bad to be you, shame detects and reflects that you have forgotten who you really are. So we have this place of shame where, yes, there's some primal brain issues, there's some conditioning, there's our life experiences, and then we're essentially a group of women. Yes, Adera? Okay. So we have another aspect in being raised female for whatever period of time, which is be nice, cooperate, Don't speak too loudly. Don't be too much. Don't get too. We get all of this messaging about who we need to be in response to being who we really are. So I grew up as a person who was consistently told she was too loud, too much to handle. Could you be quiet? And then I chose a profession like yoga, and the messages continued. If you were just a little quieter, we'd give you some more yoga classes. Your music is too loud. This isn't really yoga. Da 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 da. Yogis walk quietly and do the. Some yogis do. There's beautiful yogis who tread very quietly on the earth. I'm not one of them. I carry a big speaker and I got a big voice and I have big experiences. And that doesn't mean that we don't move into silence, into depth, into stillness. But I'm not assuming or accepting that the requirement of spiritual practice is quietude. That is an aspect. It can be a full practice for some, but not for all. I had a mind in which if you put me in a silent room, I would find my way out of that silent room. I would dance, I would sing, I would talk to myself, I would have some sort of different experience. So that place to detect and reflect that you've forgotten who you are is that space of shame. Does anyone have any kind of thoughts, comments on that? Any part of their experience relate to that space?
I'll just jump in, and everyone else is welcome to too, either in the chat or just put your hand up. I was thinking about how we have chosen careers where we can express who we are and what it is that we want to give to another and serve another. But where I find people have a block is when it comes to talking about it, or when it comes to like tooting our own horn, or when it comes to, I want to share this, but I don't want people to look at me and go, who does this woman think she is? And why does she think she's so great? And why should I care what she has to say? So we just have all of this talk, negative self-talk that goes on that stops us from sharing and showing up in places with full confidence and radiance and illumination about who we are.
So, what I like to say is that the true practice of yoga is holding two completely contradicting things gently in each hand. So, one hand is like, I love what I do. This is amazing. I want to share it. When I'm in the midst of sharing it or teaching it or offering it or guiding it, I'm on, I'm lit up. Here I go. And then someone says, could you please tell me what you do? Oh, well, I sort of, really enjoy. And then all of a sudden we just collapse, right? Yep. I can't really like tell you what I do because is that bragging? Is that, and this source right here, how do you think I met this one named Adera? Do you think I wanted to go out and promote my yoga? I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do that. I'll teach all day long. I'll teach 14 hours a day. Please don't make me go out in there and tell people what I'm doing. Just as soon as they're in the room, I'll be like, hey, we're going to do some stuff. Let's get it on. But don't make me do these other mediums. That's how I got connected to Adera more than decades ago. So within that space, it's holding two contradictory ideas. There's a lot of words that happen in spiritual practices, in many of our modalities that we are likely involved in, and people talk a lot about healing. I'm a little bit more of a fan of, I didn't want to say Stephen Jenkinson's holing, and I mean WHOLING. Healing gives some idea that there's a finish, that there's an end point. Holing, yeah. And thank you, Adera. And so within this idea of holing, which is Stephen Jenkins' idea, not mine, there's an integration of the parts of who we are. Courage means age of the heart. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyway because you're connected to your heart space and letting that be the guide. Anytime we let our brain be the guide, it will go to a whole lot of thoughts, experiences, and memories of every time we fell down, tripped, we're told we couldn't, and then that becomes bigger. So courage, when you're dealing with shame, is about returning to the heart space. And I have a little tiny little practice, if you're
Yay.
open to it for just
Yes.
a second, to where we can maybe drop out of head brain for half a second and breathe into another part of our being, just to check in, say, who is this Jay and what is all this blah, blah, blahing she is doing? Okay, so just take a minute, stretch into your beautiful body. Take a couple of moves, take a couple of deep breaths. Big inhale through your nose, big exhale through your mouth. Land in your personhood, which is flesh and bone and heart and all these good, subtle bodies, bigger than the thinking brain staring at the Zoom screen. One more big breath. Big exhale. You can rest your hands at your heart center. You can rest them on your lap. You can put them somewhere that feels comfortable, but close your eyes. Breathe long and deep into this space. Notice your heartbeat, your breath, the temperature of this day, this moment. We deepen our inner awareness, our conscious awareness, when we become embodied, which is accessing more space than the mind and the thoughts provide. So breathing into that place, when we come into self, we can bring and establish center somewhere between the navel, the heart, and the spinal column. Notice that you can establish a center in your physical presence. There's days it may radiate more at the navel, days that it may feel more in the heart space, but notice that there's a column of energy and aliveness in your body. And be aware of yourself as an energy presence. And that this presence is your unique signature in the world. There is not another presence exactly like yours. We have all the places we interconnect and the unity and all the wonderful things, but just lean into this sense of presence that is uniquely yours. You are in your body, your energy extends beyond your body. See if you can notice that space around you. Contain your energy and your attention inside your skin. Mind is used to being the boss. It might be pushy with the thinking. I love you, brain. You're fabulous. I don't need you right now. I'm feeling into different aspects of my own personhood. As you hold this awareness within you, hold your unique space and the space of being in the world. How good it feels to be in your own space within yourself. There's a sweetness and a power in that place. Feel the energy and any untapped potential that exists in this realm. As you lean into that space, watch for hidden agendas and beliefs that demand your attention. Rather than push those hidden agendas away, can you find out what they need and offer them some caring, compassionate space? You imagine bringing your beautiful, unique self, your work into the greater world, and the hidden agenda, the belief is, I don't want to do that. What if I fail? What if I'm too much? What does that part of you need? It's not going to be verbal in the beginning. Maybe it needs warmth, softness, attention, energy, strength, grounding. And it may grow from there. Don't reach out. Instead, reach inward for your comfort, your approval, your belongingness. Find that state of enoughness within and circulate that energy within you. If we were going to use a word, we would say reassure, but feel it as a genuine sensation that is beyond anyone else's opinion, that has greater expansion than the fear that holds you back. Feel safe inside yourself, with your own opinions, your own ideas. Feel yourself becoming non-demanding, non-confrontational, unattached to someone else's idea of what your uniqueness is in the world. We call this authenticity. And take a deep inhale through your nose. Big, powerful exhale. Open your eyes, move your body, wiggle as it serves you. Notice how 6 or 7 minutes we drop into nuanced sensation that is beyond our shame. Is a programmed state around self-worth. It is a programmed and conditioned state in which something outside of us got rooted as a belief system within us about who we are and what our value is. And that when we begin to initiate and engage regular practices where we touch into something that I refer to regularly as nonverbal, it's sensation-based, just we all know these 3 sounds. And they have a physical sensation that rides with them. When your body and your breath reaches into that knowing has arisen. Something you needed, something that you needed to connect to has been established. And it wasn't, I need to go for a walk, I need to do this, I need to eat a juice smoothie, and the big long list of, if I do all these things, then I'll feel better. It's about cultivating enough space with practices, walking, ocean, nature, yoga, meditation, that serve until you go, I'm home. And the more we cultivate a space of coming home to ourselves, from that base, from that foundation, we begin to see and understand the beliefs, the thoughts. They usually start as thoughts, they get filled out into beliefs that constantly fuel that space of unworthiness, which was never true. It was never true then, it's not true now. But the pattern that we engage is what keeps it that big. And so when we find that inner we connect to our own inner truth, wisdom, we align with values, our values, which will change over time. Not all of them. We have universal values, but the individual, what I valued at 12 is not really the thing I value at 52. And so within those alignment to our values and an alignment to remembering who I am, now I can show up authentically and stand in front of that damn iPhone that Adera holds in front of
Sorry.
my face. I
Not
love
sorry.
it.
Sorry, not
Sorry,
sorry.
not sorry, right? She's like, and the gift is that authenticity for me arises in authentic connection. So you're never going to find me on a reel or anything else talking to a blank wall. That is not my jam. I can't do it. Some people, it's truly talented. Like they have a wellspring, it comes out of them. That's beautiful. Those are all the different places and spaces that we contain. Adera has always helped me, or my husband, or whoever. Just ask me some questions and I can answer you honestly because then it is authentic. And then I will put that off into the ethers. So the authenticity is, and Adera is the queen of this, is helping you to tap into the tools and connections that let you communicate with authenticity because you've surpassed shame. You've surpassed that belief, that thought, that old experience that wants to take precedence because it's trying to solve for safety. And instead, you go, I'm here. It's okay. Now I get to communicate authentically who I actually am. That's why we're here as soul beings. We embodied for a reason to do the things that we're here to do.
Okay, wow, that was so great. I want to listen to that meditation every day. I'll try to clip that for all of us ladies. I think we all were like, oh, this is good. This feels nice. I love being in my knowing being. Okay,
She's
so
always there.
she's always there. She just keeps getting distracted. So what about when? And what about when we feel like what we want to share and bring is like a whole lot? And like, how are these people going to understand all the things that I want to share and be? And how do I put myself in a box for people to get me, you know? And I always say I change my tagline every Tuesday.
Well, you change your tagline every Tuesday because you're a absolute fountain of ideas and you're not self-limited to keep yourself in one tagline for the rest of your life. Whoever said, I know there's branding rules and this rule and that rule. Do we have to follow the rules?
No.
Or do we have to communicate authentically who we are, which is a dynamic and changing experience? So when people talk about putting yourself in a box or I have to communicate, what I tend to do is pick the thing that is the most resonant that I'm working with and communicate that. I may have a lot of other things I'm teaching and a lot of other things that resonate with me. But if I can speak from the truth of what I'm working with in the moment, people, we connect over our shared humanity. There is no cure for being human. There is no end to polarity. The idea is that we have to be able to find that space to say, this is what I'm working with now. And if I speak to it honestly from my actual experience, people find that connection point. If I'm like, my name is Jay and I teach Manipura yoga and I have teacher trainings, and everyone's like,
Snooze fest.
okay,
Mm.
right? I don't care. But if I can tell you the things that I like to do and share and the mistakes that I make, and that yoga is not about perfection or owning a mala or any of the trappings of the stuff, all of those are guideposts. If they serve you as a tool or a technology, enjoy them. If they mean nothing to you, you can find your access point. This is where we start interesting dialogue with each other. And honestly, marketing, if we take the word marketing out of it, which Adera will be like, no, I want to keep the word marketing in it. But if we take some of those pieces out of it, what I think Adera does so well and why she uses light up and illuminate and lighthouse is the intention of sharing our messages is opening to the vulnerable spaces of sharing ourselves. And there is no belonging without vulnerability. And people want to feel that form of connection. And shame, we can work with shame because, again, it's detecting and reflecting where you have forgotten who you are.
So when you say forgotten who you are, do you mean that like the home of us, the uniqueness of us, the fountain of expression within us, that is us, the shame detects when we're not resonating at that level? So you're
I
saying Yeah, okay. So you're saying if I do my like dance party video and I feel like so elated doing it and I'm in it and and I share it, there shouldn't be any shame around that because it's mine.
It's yours. And what happens is the shame storm comes after, because what we're doing is looking for external validation.
Mm,
And the point of the internal processes and practices is that the validation comes from here.
mm,
And I am not everyone's cup of tea. I am not everyone's yoga teacher. I am not everyone's meditation teacher. I'm not everyone's one-to-one guide. But I have a whole host of humans that I connect with that I refer to, because vibration, if you want to use that word, your vibe, what you're putting out, your resonance in the world, is it will connect with the people who are seeking you. It does. When we try to please everyone and we become a vanilla form looking for everyone's approval, like nothing happens. There's no authenticity, there's no connection, there's no vulnerability, there's no communication. I might feel kind of safe in my vanilla box, but then I'm sad because nothing's actually happening. I'm not actually getting the juice of being alive and connecting with the other beings. So the shame that you can feel after you post your dance party or after you put out your cool thing that was so much a part of your heart and it only got 3 likes, is
uh-huh,
because you had an expectation that because you were being genuine, 1,000 people would show up.
uh-huh.
Do you need 1,000 people, or do you need 3 genuine interconnections?
Right.
We have a big thing around volume in our world, and volume does not always imply quality.
Mm-hmm.
Connection implies quality.
I was just going to say that I never, ever, ever look at anything that's posted. Mind you, Devin's usually doing the posting,
Mm-hmm.
but so I don't know who liked it or who didn't or whatever. I just don't even
Good.
bother looking.
So you don't get that shame storm. Lucky you.
No, because
Yeah,
I figure, well, it's done and does it matter? And
right.
then I don't worry about it because I don't even know what's going on.
Right.
Well, and I fly in and out once a week. I'm like, here's some things I want to share. And I can like the things I'm in for once a week. And then I'm like, wishing you all the best. Bye-bye now. I have a whole life to live besides being in this zone, because
Mm-hmm.
it can take a lot of my time.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we're just speaking about social media for that matter, and some people like to see which reels did well so that they can replicate them or see what people are resonating with. But uh, yeah,
there,
anyway.
there's nothing wrong with that form. Like
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea is that there's nothing wrong with checking in,
Mm-mm.
figuring out what's working, and trying to continue that. That isn't a bad thing. And it's also not bad to say, I don't really engage because what I do here is I put this out. I want it, and who it needs to hit, it will hit. And these are the other ways I engage. There's a problem I think that
Mm-hmm.
we have as business women, in which we think we have to, it's almost like, what do we call this? The super mom effect. I have to be the best in every portal of every arena of everything, and I've got to put it in every single spot. I don't have 17 brains. I just have one. And so I'd rather work from a place of authenticity and work with what I'm working with, and then hire people who have skill sets that complement mine, like Adera, like, people who can do some of the things that's not, it's not in my gift set.
Mm-hmm.
My gift set is doing these things. And so now
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hire a team so that I can, share in their gift set, and we can do all of those pieces together.
You're right, though. We do have a problem with volume because we constantly think the more people we have, the more money we'll make. And the more, I don't know how many times you and I have chatted about putting you all over the interwebs. And I, tell you I'm going to get you millions of followers and you're just like, why? I mean, you don't need that to be happy. You're good.
My courses that often have 10, 12 people are these epic, profound, connective experiences. And 10 years ago, I thought if I didn't have 25 people in the room, I was failing. And now I really just revel in the juice, the intimacy, the connection, the openness that a smaller group can do together because they build trust with each other versus I have 600 people. Well, each individual is going to get something out of that. There's nothing wrong in being in a room of 600 people and getting something lovely. But that's not, it depends on the kind of work you're trying to do. There's places for volume, and then there's places for kind of more intimate groups. And in a world that is bombarding us in information, groups of how many of us are there? So I think my Zoom screen says 10, 7, 8,
Right.
whatever. Like that has a nice space versus I'm on a Zoom call with 72,000 others. Because when I'm on a Zoom call with 72,000 others, and what I'm saying is the person who's doing the talking is the only person with information in that space. Whereas when you're in a room with 12 people or 8 people, you are all contributors and teachers of each other.
Which is how I like to learn personally. Okay. Does anyone else have any like final questions or thoughts? And at the end of the day with shame, as it being an emotion that we feel, is it trying to, you said it's like the point that it's trying to reflect to you that what you're doing is out of alignment of who you really are, or it's detecting and noticing that about you. But is it wanting you to bring attention to that so that you can have love or compassion for yourself around whatever that is at the end of the day? Like, you could beat yourself up because you only had like 3 people that liked something, or you go out somewhere like right now, I only have, the 8 people instead of the 25 that showed up. And then I feel bad about that. But what?
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That's perfect. So just close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. You had a thought that 25 people were going to show up. Well, how did that make you feel when you thought 25 people would come?
Like I've done good for you.
You always do great. So it made you feel good. You thought, oh, I'm doing a good thing. Okay, now stay inward, breathe deeper, breathe longer. There's 8 amazing humans in this space. If you really connect to the individuals who came, the interactions, and I know I've done a lot of talking, I can talk a blue streak. Was there any part of that felt bad?
No.
So the idea that more people means you did better.
Right.
Where did that idea come from?
More people means better.
Uh-huh.
More people.
So then
means
spending
better.
some time with that.
Shit.
There's a root in that that says somehow this means good. And it's a thought which then gets connected to a belief, and beliefs express themselves without us thinking about them. They become sort of ingrained in our conditioning. So we go and root down into that belief because the goodness is here. The good feeling is here, and it's a thought. Oh, yes, I love that. Quantities on the surface, qualities deeper. Yeah, like in that space, it's the thought, which is part of a conditioned belief that poisoned the well. And so the feeling of feeling bad is kind of saying, hey, Adera, let's explore this because it isn't true. We just had 8 people come into community for a really amazing opportunity. It doesn't need to be more than this.
No, and it brings like tears to my eyes that I would think that. So there's definitely there's a poisoning there that has happened. Yes, I'm going to have to look deeper into that.
It.
Oh, well, if
you
I
can
can,
feel it.
if I can interject there, Adira's whole thing is also because she loves you, Jay, so much. She values you so much that she wanted to share you with those 25 people. So there's also that part of it that I know about her. Right?
This is where we entangle shame, guilt, and grief. So shame is based on who we are, guilt is based on action, and grief is a source of love, but a sensation of loss. We cannot feel loss around something we do not love. So one of the challenges in working with emotions is it would be really nice if they showed up individually, like, hi, I would like to reflect to you what your self-worth issue is. Let's have a conversation. But no, it brings it sister guilt. Is it something I did? Did I not do? Did I put all the links in? Did I tell all the people? That's action based, which is guilt, aligned action. All your actions are beautifully aligned. But now it's connecting into the shame bucket. And then maybe a sense of grief or loss, like, I love this person and how come I didn't? And all of a sudden we've got a little bit of grief coming in because there's some loss, some perceived loss. And so the awesome part of those sensations is going back and remembering, I love Jay. Jay loves me. We had a great community. We had 8 people. It's enough. Yay, us. Right? But we don't. We're looking for measures and external reflections. And when I look at the reflections of the humans here, I see humans who clearly are empowered by the work that you're doing, Adera, to trust you, to bring another human into their experience. And they are fully operative, independent humans. They could have just clicked out of Zoom, and it could have been for a million different reasons. Maybe there was something happening in their backyard and they had to go. Again, we can go to shame of, oh my gosh, 3 people left. That didn't work for them. You have no idea what just showed up in their life and why they clicked out of Zoom.
Right.
The story I'm telling myself, when I feel shame show up, I say the story I'm telling myself so that I can get clear about the thoughts that I'm thinking. And then from there, I go into some form of internal practice so that I can test it against that deeper state of self. Because if I give it that couple of minutes, and I can tell you what I tell every one of my students, no one will follow you into the bathroom. You can go in the bathroom and sit on a closed toilet with the lid down and take 6 minutes to self-reference in an internal practice and go, oh, I'm just feeling afraid. I'm feeling afraid. I love people and I want them to all shine and explore. And I'm missing the fact that there are people shining and exploring right now. And that's more than enough. Who I am is connecting people.
Look at all my notes. Did you all take this many notes? I mean, I took so many notes. So good, Jay. Thank you. Okay. Wow. So if anyone else has anything else they want to add, please do in the comments or just come off mute. Jay, do you want to take a couple minutes just letting people know if there's more they'd like to explore? You have these 2 mini classes and this path of self-acceptance. Tell us more.
Okay, so the mini classes are just freebie 20-minute practices. They're excerpts from my larger classes.
Lovely.
I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Adera came to me and she's like, I really want to practice, but I don't have time to do your 90-minute practices all the time. That's a lot of time. I'm a very busy woman. I got a little kid. 90 minutes is a big part of my day. Could you do something different? So I said, oh, that's a really cool idea, Adera. So I've cut a bunch of my work into, I go in and edit it. I am not Gaia. I am not some multi-billion dollar corporation making perfectly Ryan Spiro level edited video. Let me just put that out there right now. It is not Spiro quality because I just go in and edit it. But it gives people a 20-minute practice that will let them target something. So in 20 minutes, they can shift that energy or have a little guidance to get back inside and do the work they need to do. So there's a couple of freebies up there that gives people some exposure to the work that I do. The course that I'm teaching in the fall is called The Path of Self-Acceptance. And we are going to use meditation, Kundalini yoga, and some work to untangle shame and guilt, action and identity, and be able to get clear how we uniquely have created how we've created systems around that. The structure of it, because I know a lot of you are on the mainland, if you want to come to beautiful Vancouver Island, it's the first Saturday of the month, October, November, December. That's an immersive day. And those are in person only because we do a lot of collective work between 9 and 3 at the Bethlehem Retreat Center. You can sleep there. And then on Tuesday evenings, the first 3 Tuesdays of the month, we regather, practice, and that work can be done in person or online. You can live stream in or you can come in person because accessibility is my dharma.
It is. And I love that about you. And then also I had posted in here, Linda has her Presence to Purpose retreat happening next month. If you need 3 nights just to reset. Actually, I'll give everyone an opportunity to share a little bit about what they're up to too. If anyone else has any other questions about Jay's work, I just really appreciated you coming on and speaking to my people. I really love your work. You know that. And it's so potent what you share. And I took a lot of notes, so I got a lot out of it.
Thank you for having me, Adera.
I really enjoyed it, Jay. I resonated with a lot of things you said. And, we can always learn something from each other. We don't know it all, right? And I love being able to experience learning something new. I'll never stop learning. So thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today.
And that's how I teach. I mean, granted, in a 90-minute Kundalini class, it's a little different. It's, foghorn, leghorn here, just chatting you through the Kundalini practice. But in the courses that I teach, it's a lot of group connection, because there's no purpose in going and seeing one person talk and talk and talk, although I've just done a terrible job of that for the last hour. But there's an opportunity that we all teach, and we get connections of going, I mean, one of the biggest insights around shame is that I'm not the only one who thinks that. That isn't just me. I'm not the only one. And as soon as we kind of come into that community of that mucky soup and start reflecting for each other, oh my gosh, I see this and I see, and people are like, oh, it's just gives me goosebumps. Adera, tell us about your program.
Right. Okay. So no shame. I'm going to tell you about my program, and then each one of you has the opportunity to tell us about your program or what you're up to for the next 7 minutes-ish before we log off right at noon. My Light Up membership has been going on since last September. I've had a group of 11 women, which again, I thought I'd have, 50. And I'm going to work through these numbers. And we've been meeting weekly on Tuesdays for a whole hour at this time. We work through our content, our social media, our blogs, our putting ourselves on podcasts, connecting with one another, sharing each other's work, growing each other's companies. It's been just a really great, amazing experience for me. And I think for the rest, a lot of you are here. Ashley, Linda, and Layla are part of that. And we are going to continue. I'm going to do it another year. It was so potent. And I think the accountability and the commitment of doing it every week just keeps on growing your ability. You keep thinking up new things to share, and I hold you accountable to doing that. So that's going to launch again September 16th. And if I have the 52 people, which is I'm hoping I do, I will have a Thursday evening option as well for an hour. So you can pick between a daytime or an evening time. And I am excited about that. Because we need each other, and just like you said, it's nice to know that other people are going through the same thing. I mean, Layla and Ashley and Linda can all attest to us, seeing each other and holding each other accountable and coming to each other's things and sharing each other's work. And it just is a great way to grow into the next evolution of what you're wanting to share with the world. So a lot of sharing.
I think those same things apply to guilt and shame, which is why I do the courses over 3 months. Because as you build trust in immersive days over and then come together each week, it's kind of like, oh, I had this epiphany with shame. Never mind, I'm going to go back to that same old behavior again, right? And it's nice to be with people who remind you on a rate. I think that connection and accountability is honestly a piece of community that we're missing in our global and sometimes our local environments right now. So it's really potent that you're doing that.
Agreed. And if I think back to, that's interesting you say that, because if I think back to all these pinnacle moments of my life, it's always when I was in community, like when I worked on the cruise ships for this amount of time, or I ran across Canada with these people, or when I did my yoga teacher training with you. It was like, those are moments where you were immersed into something. And you're right, we don't take stock or value that is actually where the real goodness is in our life experience when we immerse into something. Absolutely. And I think we need to try, like I was in BNI for a year and it wasn't my people. I did get business from it. So I guess that was great. But this is why I created Light Up, because I wanted to be with people I wanted to be with. And I wanted, so that's, it's been great. Okay, would everyone like to take a minute to share who they are? If they don't want to, you're welcome to hop off. But Linda, I'd love for you to introduce who you are, and Maggie, you, and Linda Honing, you're welcome to say another thing, and Ashley too, and my other Ashley, if she'd like, and off we go to enjoy this incredible day. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, do it. Jump in, Maggie.
You're lighting me up again, and I really needed it.
It just happens.
It's a bit of a roller coaster. Okay. So you're speaking my language, Jay. You're speaking my language. And Adera, you're speaking my language too. And I think that what do I want to say? I could go on, but I'm gonna cut to the chase here. I've been a psychotherapist serving everybody on the planet for 3 decades. And that's good. I love my work, but I'm in a big pivot. I want to focus on the women because the women are tired. I want to come into small groups and do lighthouse circles where we light each other up and we learn to be our own lighthouse, because the lighthouse can't stop the storm. It can't tell the captain not to run into the rocks. It can't change the wind, but it can know its place, shine its light as bright as possible. And when each woman does that, she feeds the entire village. She feeds her children, her neighbors, her partner, her workplace, her colleagues, and her family. And so instead of serving everybody, I want to do 3-month, really deep, intensive coaching programs. I'm starting a beta program in the fall. I'm keeping it small and intimate, and I'm taking applications right now for the beta program, which is the first time that this Lighthouse project is going to fly.
Yeah, you bet. This is the psychotherapist I think I was talking to you about, Jay, when we met for our walk. Yeah, this is Maggie.
That's awesome. Nice to meet you, Maggie.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Jay. I think I'm going to come up to Bethlehem Center and see you, so I got to check that out.
Yeah. Do get on her mailing list. She sends lots of great info and wisdom and stuff in there, and you can keep track of what she's up to. Who wants to jump in next? I love it.
Next. I'm Alicia. Hi. I am the CEO of a couple companies, one called PhysioMed and the other one is Pain Free Health Clinics. So we do physio, chiro, all of that. I'm also a single mom to 3.5 kids. Half is my stepson, and I still have a great relationship with him. So I'm just busy on the go, currently at home, making a little breakfast casserole while I'm on the Zoom call. And about to head out and go into the clinic and work. And I'm just always on the go.
Awesome.
That's me. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Alicia. Oh, yay. Let's do lunch.
Of course. Yeah. Well,
okay.
We're trying.
We're on it.
Thanks. Okay.
And if anyone wants to drop any links for us to follow, this is one thing we do in our calls. Please do, because we will like you on Instagram. We'll find you on LinkedIn, wherever you want the attention, we will give it to you. Okay. Don't leave Linda without saying a couple things, both Linda's and Ashley, and we can bounce out.
I will happily jump in. Hi, everybody. Okay. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, Adera, very much for organizing this. And the thing that you just said at the end about how, you've had all these amazing experiences and you've just really not celebrated them. You've just been on to the next, more. And that resonates with me. And I think that's one of the great takeaways, one of the many takeaways from this call for me is just pausing and celebrating and recognizing all of the, the little pieces of our mosaic of our awesomeness, and looking at each one and its details. And I work as a coach. I'm a certified organizational coach. My goal is to reach my next credential level, which is 500 hours of coaching practice to become a professional certified coach, or PCC, with the International Coaching Federation. So my invitation to the community is to reach out to me, and I'll pop my my website and contact information in the chat as well. If you know of anyone who is looking to explore coaching, I work with ambitious, aspiring leaders or established leaders who have great ambition but need some audacity to get to the next stage of their career. So busting out of that vanilla. But, so the vanilla can be delicious. That Madagascar stunning vanilla, nothing to diss, really. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, so great. I loved how you used all the wording that we've talked about in our last call. That was so good, Ashley. You just like tried it on, and you're like, how does this feel? Yeah, this felt good. It felt great. With audacious, that was one of the words. Okay. Yeah. Linda, beautiful, beautiful. Who's going to jump in first? How about Linda Mackey? You go.
Okay, I don't know which one you were referring to. It's just two Lindas here. Thanks for having me. Sorry I joined very, very late, like last minute, 2 minutes before.
Oh, good.
But anyway, thank you for the talk today. It was really inspiring. I know I can relate to a lot of the shame and like, oh my God, should I put myself out there? And I kind of dabble in it every once in a while. But I've reignited my podcast, which actually Adera had helped me with initially.
2018, yeah.
Was it 2018? Anyway, I've relaunched it. So I put the link in there if you're interested in seeing about it. So I'm a photographer. I've been doing it for about 20 years. And I guess what I'm doing differently now is I've always coached my clients, but I'm kind of talking about it more formally because I realize that, when I do photography with clients, I literally walk them through from the minute we talk initially to when they're ready to post their photos. And so there's a lot of not just technical coaching, but there's a lot of personal coaching I realize that I do just innately. And I think that's what really sets me apart and how I get the photos I get.
I agree.
So I'm really kind of not being shy about that anymore. I used to kind of just do it under the radar, and then the Eloquent Entrepreneur is basically, it's a tool, a marketing tool for me, but also my clients. It's a major asset. So all my branding clients get interviewed.
Yes.
On my podcast.
Oh, great.
And I'm trying to figure out ways to monetize it because I have a producer now because I can't do it by myself.
Yes.
But anyway, so it highlights them and their business and how they're making a difference in the world. That's basically the gist of it.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. So I've got my work cut out for me because I've got to really, do the website overhaul and Anyway, I could go on.
Always. Okay. I so appreciate you. Did Jay just paint? Yeah, Jay just bounced out. She had to go. She's catching a boat. I meant to tell you that. Also, if you are free, Linda, I'm so glad you're here because we're having a summer social in Victoria, right on the harbor front on August 16th. If you're around, I don't know if you saw any details to that, but I put the link in here. You're invited. Maggie's invited. It's going to be a great group of people and potentially some new clients for both of you. So that would be great. And if Linda Honing, if you want to do a little pitch for your retreat and then we'll bounce out.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Yeah, on August 15th to the 18th, I'm doing 3 nights, 4 full days of presence and purpose. I'm finding in my practice, there are so many patients that come that are really not grounded in the present moment. Everybody's so scattered, so busy, and not actually being present. Even in a massage, it takes time, or a Reiki healing, it takes often time for them to get on the table, even though they have arrived, but they haven't actually got on the table. So I decided to do this retreat. It serendipitously, the universe provided me a whole entire house because my 2 renters are moving out. So I have lots of space. And so I'm super jazzed about creating this retreat so that people can find not only presence, but also understanding that even though you may have a life purpose, like a job, being a photographer, a doctor, whatever, there also is the purpose of now. So what do you want for your, and Jay talked about it, is like, we need to not only find ourselves in our job, but also find all of the things that we need soulfully to be in this moment and to evolve from this moment. Like, what are we doing next? And having that time to pause, whether it be on a toilet or in a kayak or whatever, right?
Kayak sounds way better.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing on Tender. So there's a lot of, there is some soulful work that I've got planned, and a workbook and whatnot, and lots of great time together with good food. But we're also going to be doing a lot of activities. We're going to be doing painting, all kinds of things.
Hiking, all the things. So good.
Walking, soulfulling.
So fulfilling. Oh, so good.
I'm so excited. And September, I'm apparently now having 3 retreats because so many people
wanted to come.
August,
yeah.
but make the
I'll
time.
be there in September for sure. So let me know what those dates are.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies. I'm going to let you go because I know we all want to move on with whatever we got going on today, but I really appreciate you being here. God, this work is just so important that I just felt, I hope you did too, when we did that little meditation, like I just felt my beingness and I thought, oh, what else do we need to do? You know, this is it right here. Just stop it already. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, love to you all. And I'd love to see you every week if you want to join our group. But yeah, just stay in touch. Nice to see you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.